We're coming to the end of the longest serving governor in Texas history. It's an achievement. What's the legacy, and what are some things that would not have happened if we were not blessed with Governor Rick Perry for lo these many years? What do you look back on?
What I think the legacy will be is a young Texan who's graduating from college today because they had access to a financial aid that 10 years ago they couldn't have gone to college. They couldn't have afforded to go to college. And because we've increased that financial aid by 900% over the time I've been governor, they've had that access.
In retrospect, tell me something you screwed up other than the 2012 presidential campaign. Something you felt is unfinished.
There are a number of areas I might have done something different process-wise. We've added more highway lanes than any other state in the nation. But obviously, when I laid out a concept like the Trans-Texas Corridor, the people of the state of Texas said, I don't think so. And
was that process or concept or both?
It was process, because the fact is we're building roads. Mm-hmm. We're building roads. We substantively changed the way that we fund those roads. But that's part of the process. I mean, from my perspective, if I had any big issues still in front of me that I wanted to go accomplish, I would have run for re-election. Now, that's not to say that Greg Abbott's not going to have plenty of challenges as a governor. Every governor in Texas is going to face challenges, whether it's hurricanes or wildfires or floods or some disease may show up on their inside the border, or you may have a border that has issues as we go forward. All of those are going to be out there, and I'm quite confident that Greg's going to be a very good, capable, and even move the state forward in all of those areas.
I'm not sure I've ever asked a governor this quite this way, but and I hate to bring it up, but you're facing 109 years in prison. Is all that a result of increasing partisanship around here? I know you believe that is, well, do you believe that's all a result of partisan politics?
I think it'll all get worked out in an appropriate way, and that would be a better time to ask me. You know, I've made my position pretty clear on it, that a governor has a constitutional right to veto a piece of legislation regardless of what it is, regardless of what reason. So I hope that's not put in jeopardy by a prosecutor that I happen to think was overzealous. So soon I think it will be behind us, and we can have a broader conversation about it.
Your preference, I assume, is that motions to dismiss,
that would be my preference.
That it doesn't even go to trial.
Yes.
But if it goes to trial, you're confident you'll be acquitted.
I feel comfortable that the system works in Texas.
Because you have a chance of being the first state official serving time in a prison named for you. That would be a distinction, wouldn't it, Governor? Or not? Moving on.
Moving on would be good.
You've prevailed, I believe, in 6 statewide elections, often by very large margins. Twice Ag Commissioner, once
some very close.
Right, when there were multiple candidates. But you've always won. The people of Texas have reviewed your performance and approved it many times. Why is it that so many people in Texas intensely dislike you? The people who are against you politically, it gets personal and insulting at some points. What is it?
I'm not sure I agree with that premise. That I think that the people of the state of Texas take a rather thoughtful view, and they elect people that they agree with, and we go on about our business. I represent all the people of the state of Texas. You know, there's no one in the Texas legislature that probably has a more opposite philosophical position than Synfronia Thompson. Mm-hmm. She's been in the House, I think, for 42 plus years. She is a very close personal friend. Philosophically, we're different. So I think the real test for me would be how do you work with the men and women that are in your arena, and I think we managed to get along quite well. So
your chief of staff told our newspaper, I believe yesterday, that someone in the Speaker's office communicated what I guess could be interpreted as a threat concerning Wallace Hall and whether he should resign. What do you know about that?
I stand by Kathy Walt's recollection. I trust her, I believe her, and I think her recollection of what happened is spot on.
And if so, is the Speaker's office out of line in what happened there?
Listen, every day during the legislative session or during through the year, there are people that say, you need to do this or we're going to do this. That's fine. that's how this process works.
Is that okay the same way anything you might have done concerning our local DA is okay? It's politics?
What I've said is that I know what the Constitution says about vetoing a piece of legislation, and I full well stand behind my right to veto a piece of legislation. And again, you followed this process, Ken, as long as I have. There have been people who have used their positions to get things done that they wanted to get done. You know, some people may consider that to be a threat, intimidation, but the fact is that's how politics works in the Pink Dome. I mean, I'm going to use whatever authority, thoughtfulness that I can, or my position, to try to get my position to be the prevailing one.
Last question about the future. Clearly you're focused on working towards a presidential bid, doing all the things one would do to prudently prepare for that, financially, policy-wise, and everything else. Is that your focus? Now, as you leave office, are you focused on that, or are you focused on getting a job and making money? What are you focused on? Preparing to run for president is a pretty full-time endeavor, isn't it?
It is, and I'm quite comfortable that the last 2 years we've spent in preparation for that is serving us quite well. And I'm looking forward to being a doting grandfather.
And other than that, enjoyable though that can be, most of your time, the day you leave office, will be preparing for the potential presidential run as opposed to looking for boards to join or whatever else a former governor does?
I suspect I can multitask.
We're done. Thank you very much, Governor. Appreciate your time this time, and it's been a long time.
It has been.